First, you start by drilling a hole through the roof. To drill this hole from the outside in, we started in the attic and found a good location and drilled a pilot hole up through. That way we knew that when we drilled down, we wouldn't be catching one of the rafters. You can see there's one over there, and there's one over there, but there's not one in our hole. Then we marked out the shingles. That's the outline of the exact flange, which we don't want to cut the shingles there. Then we measure in the distance from the top line of the flange to the top of the hood. For example, this distance from here to here is the distance from here to here. So we're going to trim the shingle along the top of this hood. So when we slide this into place, this is overlapping this, but it has room for this. Stand by. It'll be more evident when we show you. Actually, before I go on to that, we do the same thing from the top of the flange down to allow for the top of the hood. We're going to measure from here in to allow for the side of the hood, which is from here in. Right? So ultimately, we're going to mark a hole on the shingles to accept just this. This outer flange is going to slide under the existing shingles that we don't cut away. Right? So now you can see that this outer line is the outline of the whole unit, but we don't want to cut all those shingles away. We only want to cut, this is the outline of the whole unit, we only want to cut the shingles away to accept this. So we measured in from the top line down, in from the left line over, in from the right line over, and that's what this cube right here is. So when we cut those shingles away and we lift these, undo the tar underneath by way of handy dandy special pry bar, it's very flat. Then we can slide that hood under this and this until the pipe drops into place and we're good to go. Before we do that, we're going to put sealant all in there. We seal every layer inside out and upside down. So we're cutting on these lines. When you're cutting with a sheetrock knife or utility knife, it's not essential that you cut through everything in one swipe. And the harder you try to do that, the more difficult your cut's going to be. Just get a mark, and then put your knife back in your mark and drag it again, and drag it again, and drag it again. That's pretty much for cutting, you know, through shingles like this, through sheetrock, whatever. All right? I'm going to finish cutting this out with two hands. So I got pretty good outline cuts on my lines. Coming down here, I'm trying to laminate the shingle because I want to leave the shingles are multi-layers. I want to leave some shingle underneath. I'll show you what I mean. So this is what I'm talking about. That's an outer layer, and underneath there's still a layer of shingle there. It's important to me that before I start applying sealant, I clean up all the loose pebbles. That kind of a double layer there. I think even though that's ripped, we're gonna glue that back down with our sealant. That's looking pretty good. Now I gotta take my pry bar and separate these shingles here and over a little ways, here and over a little ways, because I gotta be able to get my flange underneath. So I'm gonna separate these. want to be somewhat gentle because you don't want to go ripping the shingle. It has happened. And you do your best to put it back together with copious amounts of sealant. Okay. That's pretty good. I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. When you're separating those shingles, which, you know, by nature, they glue themselves down to each other. There's little tar tabs on the back side of these shingles, and the heat from the sun will activate those after they've been on the roof for a while. You're doing it so you can fit that flange that overhangs the hood area underneath, okay? But don't forget to do the top. It's got to go up there. All right? And once in a while, you will encounter a nail right in a perfectly terrible spot, which might be right there. I think there is one there. Nope, maybe not. I might have gotten lucky and not encountered any nails. Okay. So does that make sense? That's lifting. This is lifting. This is lifting. We're going to slide that whole unit. Sorry about the movements. I'm going to slide that whole unit under here like this. And as I push it forward, it's going to allow for that cutout's going to allow for the hoods. But we still have we have shingles covering our flange. All right. Before I go putting that in place, I am going to apply sealant underneath this edge all the way around. So when I push the flange in there, it drags it in even further. I'm going to apply sealant around this hole. All right. We don't typically seal the bottoms, but in the Northeast, because of ice damming, I do seal the bottom. It's my preference. Sue me. And then when we get, and that's all the sealant that should seal out water that won't be visible to the sun, so that even if we have dry rot, dry cracked sealant down the road, the sealant that's not exposed to the sun is still sealing out water. So it's very important. You have to make your installation so that the sealant that is not visible is doing its job, and the visible sealant is just added extra precautionary sealant. All right. So I just ran sealant along underneath this shingle, right along that line, in between those two shingles, and I'm going to do that all the way around here. Get my tip underneath it. Hard to do with one hand. I got to put the phone down. Okay. See, the tip is underneath there, and I'm squeezing it. Okay. Same thing down this side. And then same thing around here. Okay, I lifted my shingles, finagled this thing underneath, and then we are going to do the same thing. I'm going to lift my shingles again and put sealant underneath this all the way around. And I push it down, it's going to ooze out, and then I'll put a bead along here. So now I have sealant under this edge of this shingle, along the line, on the edge of the flange. When I push it down, it's all going to smear underneath itself. Same thing along the top here. Same thing along this side here. Okay. It's important to put a little down here as far as you lifted the shingle, so they tack themselves back down since that tar has already been activated once. And then when we get done and we get this thing all locked down, I'm going to go back and put an external layer over the top of this. It really isn't necessary, but it's just extra precautionary. And if anything, it covers that, you know, with an added layer of thickness to give it more UV protection and years of, you know, not cracking under the sun. The other thing is I put a glob sealant underneath the screw holes. I put them underneath the screw holes so that when I screw down through the roof, it's literally taking silicone or sealant, you know, through the roof is what we use, with it through the hole. Then I seal over the top of those heads. So as you can see right here, when I tighten that screw down, look what it did. It mushed that all out. I don't know if it's that evident there. It's a little more evident like that. So I mean, this thing is sealed up. It's sealed to the nines. Again, some people say don't silicone the bottom. When you're on a roof, the possibility of an ice dam forming and allowing water to back up the roof does exist. So I do seal the bottom. There shouldn't be that much moisture in a ceiling fan, you know, a bathroom fan, even with a bathroom fan with a shower in it, with an insulated duct. You know, everything should be coming out. Pay close attention to this area here. You can see that our sealant is oozing its way out, so we know it's sealed through and through. Besides being under the flange of the device, it's underneath the shingle here and oozing out. So we got double layer. Now I'm going to take my sealant and I'm going to go on heavy right here. It's not going to be pretty. If you're looking to make it pretty with your overlay, go decorate cakes, okay? It's not going to be pretty. It's going to be decent, but it's going to be a nice thick layer over the top. All right, so to recap, we've got that sealant. You see that nice thick bead I've got on there now, all the way around. I do a little trick. I wet my finger with saliva and just tap that down. I like to make it so it's not, you know, a big fat puffy edge right here holding water. You can see all the way around. Got considerable layer of sealant oozing out there, oozing out from my flange all the way around. And look at those screw heads. I don't know if you can tell. That's, you know, 1/8 inch, 3/16 inch thick over the top of those screw heads there. And there's sealant under the screw in the screw hole. So when I screwed that screw down, the sealant that's around the screw hole oozed up over the head, and then I put sealant to connect to that. So it's basically like a whole envelope of sealant around that screw, even down around through the threads.